Fostering creativity in the workplace is so important for innovation. And sometimes we think that we don't really have a role to play in fostering creativity because our employees aren't creative or our business isn't a very creative business. It's not in a creative industry. But the reality is that without creativity, how are we going to innovate? And an easy example of this is if you think about Uber. So perhaps my creative idea would be I want to be able to get a taxi more simply and easily. And then the innovation then becomes the app to enable that to happen. And as children, we think about ourselves as creative. If you asked a room full of 5-year-olds to put up their hand of creative, I'm sure most of them would. But as we become adults, we start to believe that creativity is perhaps just for musicians or writers or painters. But there's lots of different ways to be creative. So if you want to encourage creativity in your organisation so that you can be more innovative, it's time to start thinking about how to foster a creative environment. And so one of the ways to do that is through having open communication, having leaders that are really open and transparent and approachable and encourage ideas from their teams without fear of judgment. It's also about learning from the best. So having a look at other innovative organisations in your industry, outside of your industry, what are the things that they're doing? How do they engage with their people? What does their culture look like? What are their values? What can you learn from that? It's about creating the right atmosphere. So you don't need to have slides and beanbag chairs in the office, but how do you make it a space that people feel comfortable, that they can have some fun and that they can be creative? And, finally, just bringing in fresh perspectives. So when you're hiring people, think about, how do we get a little bit more of diversity in our hiring? How do we get people that do think a little bit outside the box and can help us to become more creative? Because if you can help to foster creativity in your workplace, it'll enable you to be more innovative and help with your business viability and stability in the long term. If you have gotten some value out of this episode, I would love it if you could click on the like button, subscribe. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to put them below, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn and we can start a conversation.